The party was long over, but the music still played quietly from the speakers. The lights in the garden had dimmed, casting golden shadows on the flowers. Amanda stood by the pool, her back to me, holding a glass of wine in her hand. I didn't want to disturb her, but I was drawn to her like a river to the sea. "You okay?" I asked gently. She turned, surprised. Then she nodded. "Femi used to ask me that too," she whispered. I didn't reply. I couldn't. We sat on a wooden bench, side by side. The silence between us was not empty. It was full of memories, regrets, pain, and something neither of us wanted to name. She took a deep breath. "He died the same day our son was born." I looked at her. "Femi?" She nodded. "They found his wallet and one shoe. The building was burned completely. They said there was no body left, just ashes." My heart pounded. Ashes. So that's what they told her. She turned to me slowly, her eyes glistening. "I waited for him. I prayed, but he never came. I named our son after him. It was the only thing I could hold on to." My hand moved toward hers, and she didn't pull away. We held each other, not like strangers, but like two hearts that were once joined and still remembered how to beat in rhythm. She leaned her head on my shoulder. "Sometimes," she said, voice soft, "I dream of him. But in the dream, his face is always different, blurred, like my heart remembers, but my eyes can't." I closed my eyes. She was dreaming of me, and I was right here. The music changed. She stood and extended her hand. "Dance with me." I took it. Under the stars, we danced, slow, gentle, like old lovers finding each other in the dark. But what we didn't know was that we were being watched. In a packed car across the street, Lucy sat, gripping the steering wheel, tears in her eyes. She saw everything. The hand-holding, the dancing, the closeness. Her heart cracked. Was he falling in love with her all over again? Had he ever really liked Lucy, or was she just a bridge to his past? She looked into the rearview mirror and jumped. Tunde, leaning on a pole, arms folded, watching everything. Their eyes met for one chilling second, and she understood something in that moment. He wasn't just watching, he was planning. Blood tastes like metal. That's the first thing I remembered after the punch. The second, Amanda's scream. "Tunde, stop!" But it was too late. My head hit the garden wall. My nose cracked. Blood rushed like a broken tap. The stars above started spinning. All because we danced. All because our bodies remembered what our minds had forgotten. Tunde didn't care who was watching. His pride had been touched, and that was enough for his fist to fly. I saw people pulling back. Amanda crying. Femi Jr. confused. Phones out again. More recordings. More shame. Everything blurred. And then, darkness. When I opened my eyes again, I was in a moving car. Lucy was driving. Her eyes fixed on the road. Her lips tight. She didn't say a word. I touched my nose gently. It was wrapped in gauze. She brought me to the hospital. She helped me. But something in her silence felt cold. Like she wasn't angry about what happened. She was enjoying it. And she confirmed it a few hours later when she sat beside my hospital bed and said, "Now maybe you'll understand who really cares for you." I looked at her. Eyes confused, nose aching, heart torn. She sighed sadly and pulled out her phone. The neurologist emailed me. "Your muteness isn't permanent. It's trauma-based." She looked up. "He said if you find joy again, real joy, you might speak." Her fingers touched mine. I want to be the one who gives you that joy, Victor, not her. Something shifted in the room. The lights were still on, but the energy turned dark. This wasn't just about helping me anymore. It was about winning me, owning me. She smiled sadly. Amanda had her chance. She buried a man who wasn't dead. She moved on. She chose Tunde. I tried to look away, but she pulled my hand back. She whispered, "But I chose you. Even when you had no face, no name, I chose you." My throat tightened. Was it love or control? That night, she stayed in the room with me. She sat on the small sofa, watching me sleep. Or maybe guarding me. I wasn't sure anymore. And in the corner of the room, sitting beside the flowers, was a sketch pad. A new one. And beside it, a pencil. I heard my name again. Not with love, not with laughter. This time, it was with suspicion. I had snuck into Tunde's private studio. Lucy had gone to buy food, and the nurse thought I was sleeping. But I couldn't rest. Something in me kept pulling me back to the truth. A truth I didn't fully know yet, but could feel in my bones. Tunde's studio looked like a museum. Gold frames, spotlights, but something was off. Too many paintings, too many styles. Some looked like mine. Others like work I had seen on the streets. Familiar strokes, uncredited. Then I heard the voice behind the door. It was Tunde. I moved quickly and crouched beside the shelf, heart beating fast. "I want every file on that man," he was saying to someone. "His hospital records, travel details, anything. Something about him isn't right. I want to know who he is and where he came from." He paused, then added, "And if he's who I think he is, we finish it, this time for real." My hands trembled. So it was true. He wasn't just paranoid. He was hiding something deadly. Somewhere else, Amanda sat alone in her room. The light from the moon cast a soft glow on her face. Her mind replayed the dance, the way Victor held her, the way her heart raced, the way she forgot her vows even for a second. But now, guilt filled her chest and fear. Tunde hadn't spoken to her since the party, just cold stares and tight lips. She closed her eyes and remembered. That day, the day they told her Femi was gone. She had sat on the floor crying, weak, confused, pregnant, alone. And then Tunde came with flowers, with food, with promises. He was gentle, helpful, present. Too present. Now, she wondered, was he really helping, or was he just haunting? Did he marry her out of love, or did he take her because she had no one else? She opened her drawer and brought out an old photo. It was Femi, smiling, holding a parcel in his mouth. She touched his face on the paper. "If you are still out there, please come back to me," she whispered. Then something strange happened. She heard footsteps outside her door. She opened it slightly and saw Tunde, talking to the guard again. "Watch her, she's changing." Amanda quickly shut the door, heart pounding. Back in the studio, I stood up from behind the shelf, but accidentally knocked over a painting. Crash! Tunde's voice stopped. Footsteps approached. I looked for where to hide, heart racing. Then I saw it, the fire extinguisher. The same kind I saw in my last memory, right before I was burnt. A flash of memory hit me. Someone pouring liquid, a match, a scream, and a familiar face hidden
in shadows. Laughter filled the club. Music pounded through the walls like a heartbeat on steroids. Lights flashed red, blue, and purple. But inside me, silence. Lucy stood beside me, sipping something bubbly, eyes scanning the crowd. "You need to feel alive again," she shouted above the music. "Maybe happiness will unlock your voice." I tried to smile. I failed. She waved her hands and suddenly, two women appeared, dancers, beautiful, confident. One grabbed my arm, the other held my waist. They started dancing around me like I was some statue come to life. Lucy sat and watched, smiling, but not like a friend, like a scientist watching her experiment. At first I was stiff, lost, but then something strange happened. I laughed, not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't stop the awkwardness, the ticklish spins, the way one of the girls tried to sit on my lap and missed. Lucy clapped. "Yes! He laughed! He actually laughed!" People cheered around us like I was a clown finally learning to juggle. But inside, I felt cold. Because the laughter wasn't real joy. It was forced, manufactured, and I could feel it. Lucy wasn't just trying to help me speak. She wanted to own me. Later that night, we didn't go home. Instead, she drove to a dark corner behind an old market. A car waited there, tinted windows. She got in, left the door slightly open so I could hear. His face was reconstructed, but I believe he was one of the fire victims from Abuja. I've narrowed the list down to 7. The man passed her a brown envelope. Femi Benson, artist, missing the same day as the gallery fire. My heart jumped. That name, Femi Benson. I gripped the car seat. Lucy flipped through the papers like she was reading a novel. She whispered, "Everything about him. Find his family, his child, his life. I want the truth, even if he doesn't." I leaned back, breathing heavy. So this was it. She knew. Or at least she suspected. But it wasn't just about helping me speak anymore. She wanted to solve me, to own my identity, to prove something, not just to me, but to herself. I looked at her as she returned to the car. She was smiling, proud, powerful, like a woman who had just opened Pandora's box and liked what she saw inside.
Sometimes the past doesn't haunt you with screams. Sometimes it whispers through small things, like an old photo or a child's innocent words. I sat on the hospital balcony, sketching quietly with the pencil Lucy gave me. My hand moved without thinking. The lines curved into a soft smile, a woman's eyes, a familiar laugh of graphite. Down the street, in a warm living room, Amanda was telling Femi Jr. a bedtime story. "Your daddy was special," she said, brushing her hair. "He once took me out to eat, and when we didn't have money, he paid by drawing my face on a napkin." Femi Jr. giggled. "That's funny, Mommy, but I wish you married someone like Uncle Victor. He's kind, and he draws too." Amanda froze. Her smile faded. She looked away, blinking fast. After he slept, she walked to the small wooden box where she kept Femi Benson's photo album, the one she never let anyone touch. She flipped through it carefully, one page at a time. Then she stopped. 2 photos were missing. Her hands began to shake. One photo showed her carrying baby Femi Jr. in the hospital, crying with joy.
The other, Femi Benson holding his first big painting, smiling with charcoal all over his face. Gone. Stolen. And she already knew who might have taken them. Lucy. At that exact moment, Lucy sat across from her investigator in a quiet cafe. She slid the 2 stolen photos across the table. "Zoom in on this one," she said, pointing at Amanda's hospital gown and the baby. "Check the hospital records, the date, cross it with the fire victims." The man raised an eyebrow. "You think this woman is connected to your patient?" Lucy nodded. "I'm not guessing anymore. I'm chasing confirmation. Look at the baby's nose, same shape, same eyes." She leaned back, folding her arms. "And if I find out she's the woman Femi Benson loved, then I'll know exactly who he is." The investigator paused. "And if it's true?" Lucy's jaw tightened. "Then I have to make a choice. Fight for him or set him free." Back in my hospital room, I felt restless. The dreams were getting stronger. Flashbacks, hands covered in paint, laughter in a small restaurant, a crying baby, and a kiss. Not just any kiss, a goodbye kiss. I looked down at the page I had just finished sketching. It was Amanda. Younger, smiling, holding a baby. I didn't know where the image came from, but my heart did. I held the paper close. This wasn't just a drawing. It was a memory.